Okay, so Katie, you've told already something about sperm donation, but what about adoption? We are in Switzerland. We are also voting on adoption for same-sex married couples. What are your experiences with that?
Yeah. So the first thing is you need to be very clear about what adoption is. Adoption is not a means for adults to get kids, whether you are a heterosexual couple or a homosexual couple. This is not a way primarily for you to build a family or create a family. Adoption is an institution that, when done properly, meets the needs of children. And so sometimes in America, we have the question of, well, do gays have a right to adopt? And the answer is no, because nobody has a right to adopt. A heterosexual couple doesn't have a right to adopt. A gay couple doesn't have a right to adopt. A single adult doesn't have a right to adopt. Children have a right to be adopted. If a child finds themselves in the tragic situation of being orphaned or being abandoned by their biological parents, the state has an obligation to a just society will care for those orphans by placing them in loving, vetted homes. And so the client in adoption is not the adults. When adoption is done well, every child who needs parents will be placed in a loving home. But not every adult who wants a kid is going to get one. Okay, the child is the client. And so what do children need? Well, adopted children need what all children need, right? They've lost the biological connection, and there is going to be loss and grief and, to be honest, increased struggles for them, even if they're placed in a loving home with a mom and dad. Okay, my child, I have an adopted child, and we love him and we're so grateful that he's in our family, but I will never be able to fully compensate for everything that he has lost. I simply can't. There's something I can't replace there. So children who have been abandoned or orphaned, they need what every child needs, and that is the love of a mother, the love of a father, and stability. In addition, these adults need to be ready to parent the child through the trauma they've experienced. Some of these children have special needs, and adults need to be able to respond to those special needs. And so that is why adoptive parents like me and my husband go through months and months of screening and vetting and background checks, right? Why? Because the social worker's job is to evaluate whether or not we are going to be able to provide the right home for this child. Not every adult is going to be able to go through that screening successfully, and that is good, right? Adoption is not here to give adults kids that they want. Now, sometimes when there is an overwhelming number of children who are in an orphanage or in foster care here in the United States, sometimes it's not possible to always place those children with a married mom and dad. And so in that case, sometimes social workers may determine that a same-sex couple or a single parent is the best available placement for a child. But none of that means that we minimize the importance of marriage or mothers or fathers. In fact, children who have experienced that kind of trauma, I would argue, especially need a married mother and father. So the solution is not to diminish the importance of moms and dads. The solution in those situations is more moms and dads who are married being willing to take on a child in need through adoption.